New project. Here I'm going to call it my name, and then whatever this document is. So video 1. Make sure that you hit browse and you find your student drive, your G drive. All your video files have to be stored on your G drive. For me, this is working on my laptop, so I'm going to just store it all in my downloads for now. All these defaults, just keep them the same and then hit OK. Here we have your source view, your program view, the effects control, the timeline, and here is our project files. I don't have any media imported yet. I'm going to go to File, Import, and here are the sounds for my project, and I'll just import all of them. Then I'm going to import all of my footage. And I just had them in the same main folder, but in 2 different subfolders. So I have my sounds, and then I have my video. So I'll just click on the first one, hold Shift, click on the bottom one, or you can Control click them, and then import them all in at one time. Over on the side here, I'm just going to expand it. Whenever you click in between any of these lines, you'll get those 2 parallel lines with the arrows. You can drag up any lines and you can always move them back if you want. So here, I just want to see all my video files. If I click on the icon view, I can switch and I can view them all as icons. Here we can tell that these are audio files. And then here are my video files. Some people prefer to work in icon view. Some people prefer to work in list view. When you have a lot of files and if you name them properly, list view might be easier to work with. But whatever you find comfortable, work with that. So I'm just going to drag this down. And the first thing that I really want to explain is the difference between the source view and the program view. A lot of you are probably already familiar with it, but just in case, let's go through with it. I'm going to double click on my 01 fireworks clip, and if I click inside, this is giving me a preview of what this video clip is. It's not actually on my timeline and is not in my actual video, so if I go to export this, nothing's going to happen. Very first thing is you need to make sure you have a sequence. I don't even have a timeline created, so I need to create a sequence. In Premiere CC, I can just drop my media and it'll create a sequence automatically. So I'm just going to drag and drop it. Now when I scrub across, you can see that there is a video file right here. So if I go to export this video, this right here will export. If I drag a second clip on, and I'm just going to bring it right beside the other one. So I have one video clip, and then I have my second video clip. And if I go to export this movie right now, I will have 2 video clips. This one right here is only my preview. You can crop your clips inside this window and bring it down that way. Some people prefer to work like that, and some people prefer to do their editings on the timeline. I'll get into that further on different ways how to edit in another video. Another way that you can add another sequence here is if you go up to File, New, Sequence, and you're going to get this box that pops up. If you're using a digital SLR, you can click on digital SLR and then 1080p 30 or whatever you're working on. To be honest, it doesn't really matter because if your sequence is set up incorrect, as soon as you drop in your clip, it's going to ask you to change your sequence settings. Always change your sequence settings. If you do not, then your aspect ratio will be incorrect. Why would you want 2 different sequences? Great question. First off is maybe you want to test out your video in different ways. Maybe you want to copy some aspects over. You can copy part of your timeline over to the next one. Maybe you want to have, if you're working with a really long video, you want to work with, let's say, footage from just the hallway as one sequence, and then footage from the classroom as another sequence, and then that way you can export it out and your exporting will be a lot faster. So there's 2 different ways that you can work with sequences and you can create sequences. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about our timeline right here. So it is quite different than the previous Premiere editions. If you would like to zoom into your clips, you can click on this little drag bar at the bottom And you can make your clips larger, you can make them smaller. If you would like to make your clips larger this way, you can drag them up and then you can see a little preview of your clips. If you want to be able to add keyframes, you're going to have to click on the wrench and make sure that it says Show Video Keyframes. And same thing with audio. If you want to add audio keyframes, you have to make sure when you click on the wrench, and these are all your preferences, that you have Show Audio Keyframes. Here's your effects controls. If for some reason you don't see it, you can always adjust it by Window, Workspace, Reset to save layout. You can always create your own custom layout, but I'm just going to keep it as the default one. We have different views. We have an editing view. When you click on the effects, you will get the effects over on the side here. So if you're in editing view and you don't know how to get to your effects, you can click on the effects. You have your color. You can work with color corrections. We have audio, graphics, and we have our libraries. Just going back to the editing view,